stop it, depending on the requirements. The YouTube video is, and I'll mention more about it in just a second. Jeremy, how are you? And just part of what we do here. This is much more useful if you come in and chat, if you drop something in the chat, if you come in and talk to us. Feel free to open. This is the whole time the presentation comes through. It is an open mic. You will see that some of us will just sort of talk in the middle of the presentation unless the speaker has asked us to sort of keep the questions at the end. The presentation is that gentleman you see over there, or over there, or over there, Jeremy. Somewhere I pointed to him. I just didn't want you to know, but you knew when I pointed to him. You know what I mean? So, talking about that,
Jeremy, it's nice to see you. It's nice to see you wearing short sleeves, Jeremy.
What a difference!
Yeah, it's been pleasant up here. I feel like June was the month I can take off my sweater.
Oh my God,
Damien, we never asked Michael to introduce himself. Justin did, but we never asked Michael to.
Michael, you want to let us know?
Oh yeah, can you hear me, guys?
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah, so I'm a CS student right now, working on my bachelor's, and I'm doing a full stack MERN bootcamp on Udemy by Angela Yu. I'm not sure if you guys heard of it.
Yeah, she's like the #1 rated Udemy instructor.
Nice.
Yeah, her and Andre Nagoy, I think. Well, Brad Traversy too. It's pretty good.
Yeah, they're all really good.
Oh yeah. But yeah, I just got to jQuery, so I'm just getting familiar with JavaScript and
So do you know, Michael, about why Todd made those kind of noises when she heard jQuery?
It's outdated.
It runs somewhere around 60% of the websites in the world as of 2021 July. So it is not technically outdated, right? But it is something a lot of developers are moving away from, mainly because of a lot of the functionality that you see in Java and jQuery, you can do yourself in JavaScript. And so us as big fans of JavaScript, we're eager to help you, for example, whatever you've learned how to do in jQuery, show you how to do it with other things. Having said that,
the truth is though, like when you have to write the stuff that you write in jQuery, when you have to write it in vanilla JavaScript, it can be pretty painful. So yeah. I used to use jQuery a lot before I learned some of the more modern frameworks like React, Angular, Svelte, Vue. Like they're a lot more fun to play with for me than. But
absolutely,
jQuery is a great place to start.
Damien, what did you say? What did you say the number was?
I believe it's at least 60% of the websites on the internet use jQuery. What's the number?
The number I'm looking at, according to W3 Techs, it's 95.
Wow, but I was way off. Sorry.
So hold on.
This is one source though, and it was their first search in Google. So
it's W3 schools. Oh my God.
That's because there's like so many of the libraries that we use, like when we use like marketing libraries and stuff, like they might use like one line of jQuery in them. So it's not that people are actually writing jQuery. It's that you're using plugins that are using jQuery, or you're using a tool that's using jQuery.
Absolutely.
So that's a very inflated number in my mind.
Well, I'm a big fan of a library called
100% are using binary.
Nice. Exactly.
So the other side I'm looking at says 84. So it's a lot. It's more than half. We can safely.
It's somewhere between. I will agree that it's somewhere between 0 and 100%.
Right.
Somewhere in that range.
Not anything above that. So I think you're safe.
Yeah.
So what's your reference date regarding that article?
Great question, sir.
I'm looking it up. I closed it.
Yeah.
Doesn't have a published date. That's interesting.
Good to see
June 29th, 2021.
Oh wow.
This is like it was underneath one of their charts. It's hovering at 90%.
There are some amazing numbers also in mobile. Google already, I mean, I'm talking about 5 to 6 years ago, the number of searches on mobile surpassed the number of searches on desktop. So, and that desktop includes your laptop, and that's what you're probably using right now. It is more likely that you search for things on this thing than on what you're staring at right now, which to me has always impressed me. You know what I mean? And this was quite a while ago. It's kind of, and they knew that was coming, so that's why they bought Android, right? Google. So that's what's amazing about it. So awesome, Michael. That sounds amazing. Anything that you were? Justin, I put in here, and I'll mention and maybe I can go into the slide right now. Check us out. Check out the Boca Code Slack. Check out the Palm. Oh my God, they keep on changing the names. South Florida. What is it, Jeremy? South Florida.
South Florida.
Tech Hub South Florida.org
/Slack.
The Slack channel there. Yeah, thank you. The Slack channel there, it is spectacular. If either of you have any questions, feel free to check it out. Justin, your project sounds amazing. Michael, you look like you're doing the right thing, so keep going with that. A lot of jobs you might not get will be touching jQuery, and a lot of jobs you'll be asked to do something with React or Angular or Vue on top of learning jQuery. So that's something you definitely want to be for that. So let's. Dennis, how are you? I'm going to jump into a little presentation before we do the thing, so I can just get that out of the way. Let me share my screen. Everybody see my presentation? Yes, I see you can see my presentation. Oh my goodness. On YouTube, everybody can see you guys. So smile. All right, so my name is Damien Montero. We're going to see in a couple of minutes some presentation by Jeremy. We're going to learn a little bit about different things that are really interesting to those of you that are beginners, and things are fascinating for those of you who are experts. Where you're at right now, you're in FloridaJS, FloridaJS.com or meetup.com/FloridaJS. Most likely you found us in one of those things. If you're wondering why this is the biggest group in the South Florida and how come you barely heard of us or you remember us for a while, we're a combination of what used to be Palm Beach JS, Boca.js, and React Fort Lauderdale joined to become FloridaJS. Find us in what we're gonna tell you in just a second. Under the Slack channel, you can find Jeremy, you can find myself, and you can find Jeannie on there, the three organizers. If you want to thank us, I would love a subscription. If you can simply go to youtube.com/FloridaJS and subscribe, I would. If I could help you. So, Jeremy, tell us a little bit about what other things we have for FloridaJS and what you're excited about.
FloridaJS, I'm excited about our dev community and our Palm Beach community. So first, the Slack channel. I posted the link in the chat as well. The three channels you want to look out for are the developers channel for anything development related. If you got a question about something, post it there. I guarantee you there's someone who not only has the expertise, but this is a very helpful community, and there are multiple people willing to help you out, solve your problem. And if you're looking to give back to the community, if you notice something that is posted in there that you might be able to take a stab at solving, help. Right? It only makes you stronger and helps the community as well. If you want to find out more things that are going on in the South Florida Tech Hub, events is a great place to go. And if you're looking for a gig, I think we need to update this. I think it's called Gigs Seeking now.
Right.
Or
I think
Gigs
you're right.
Hiring, because we split them out into two channels. Gigs Hiring is for recruiters or companies that are recruiting, and then Gigs Seeking is people posting that they're looking for a job. So Code Palm Beach, we are a nonprofit organization dedicated to teaching kids to code. We host multiple events a month at various locations, and we're online. 2020 has forced us to go online, and we are loving that. We are always for volunteers and open source contributors. I've got a couple of projects that we use to teach kids to code. So if you want to contribute, reach out to myself. I believe Michelle just joined. She is the co-chair with me, and we're always looking for volunteers. So if you want to give, another way to give back to the community is to teach. I get a lot of questions about, I'm not an expert. I haven't done this for very long. These kids are starting from zero. So if you know HTML, CSS, and basic JavaScript, you're a step ahead of them, and anything will make you stronger by trying to figure out how to explain the same concept in a different way. Feel free to check out our website or reach out to myself or Michelle. And then lastly,
Perfect.
our group, FloridaJS, we're looking for speakers, right? So to all those boot camp students out there, this is a great way to give back to the community and sharpen your skills, right? I firmly believe the best way to learn something is to teach it, right? It forces you to consolidate your thoughts and present it in a way that someone else can understand. And then having a discussion will illuminate new areas that you didn't necessarily consider before, or if you didn't explain it well enough, it illuminates the holes in your understanding and allows you to better be able to find the answers out. So please consider giving a talk. It does not matter if you are a day one beginner. We have speakers that are just starting out to 15-year veterans. So everybody is welcome here. Please consider reaching out to Damien or myself or Jeannie to talk. And it could be about anything JavaScript related. So have fun.
Awesome. Well, talking about that, I'm going to stop sharing, and this is where it becomes either we go right into the presentation, and Jeremy, you can tell us what's going on. But if anybody has any questions, I didn't mean to interrupt anybody that was asking those questions. Please let us know.
I reposted the link in the channel for the Slack.
Perfect.
Yeah, the Slack, I'm having trouble getting to it.
At the very bottom, what are you having, Joe? The chat?
So I click on the link and then.
Okay. So you can write it down. Tech Hub, as in Technology Hub, South Florida.
Right.
.org
Mm-hmm.
/Slack, SLACK, and that will sign you up to the Slack channel where you can find us. Everybody that you see here is there, and you're welcome to ask for any questions. And cats are allowed.
You just got to fill out your name and your email address, and you should get an invite.
Okay, understood.
The link in there.
Gotcha.
So right. So now I understand the question. So So the idea would be you cannot join any Slack channel other than go and fill in the form or having somebody else invite you. This is how you can fill out the form and all that. That's what the form is there for.
Okay, thanks.
Perfect.
Very cool.
All right, we have a lot of our presenters here from past. We have Jonathan, Todd, Michelle, Jeremy, and Steve. And like Jeremy said, Jermbo said, if you want to present, just reach out to any one of us, especially on Slack, or any which way you see on the meetup. All right, Jeremy.
I think Nikki should definitely give a future talk.
All right,
Agreed.
Nikki from Tech Hub, or where we have Nikki here.
Nikki Allen.
Hi, Nikki.
Boca Code.
What are you going to do? What are you going to tell us about? What is it that excites you before we go into this? Because everybody has something that excites it.
Really put me on the spot here.
Yeah.
No pressure, but you're our next week's speaker.
Oh,
Yes.
Great. I'm on it.
We forgot to mention we run these meetups the first and the last Tuesday of the month.
Thank you.
So,
Yes. And the
no
first
pressure,
Tuesday of the
but-
month, only because I only have one, we have a giveaway, which is free license for JetBrains software. So that's WebStorm, PHP Storm, some amazing software. Refactor if you're a C# person. No, it's not called Refactor. I keep on forgetting it. I have it, and I keep forgetting what it's called. But
Michelle
yes,
is vibing if you couldn't tell, because she loves her some WebStorm, right?
Yes. Oh yeah. Absolutely. Jonathan, what are we seeing here? I mean, Jonathan, the other white guy.
Jonathan, what are we doing?
Yeah. Jeremy. I keep forgetting which one we're looking at.
Yeah. So Summer is typically a lull for getting speakers out. So this isn't a scramble to figure out what to talk about at all.
No?
But I did want to have
sorry.
a discussion about different build tools that I'm using in sample APIs. You know, for all the new devs out there, you guys are probably familiar with something called Create React App, and there's a new up and comer called Vite that I wanted to do a quick comparison of to show some of the differences between how it compiles, how fast it compiles, and some other features about it. If you've been on the Slack channel, I kind of posted a little bit about it there.
Do you want to just do a quick show of sample APIs? Believe it or not everybody's here heard about it. Know that, and I'm a little bit surprised because we always seem to mention it each one of the things. This is one
What
of the.
is sample APIs?
Thank you, John. Well, thank you, John. Tell us more. Oh, I'm sorry. He's going to get to it. Yeah. Okay. Well, all right. You were jumping right into Vite. All right. Bye.
I was, because we're doing a thing. All right. So sample APIs is a no fuss, no mess, no auth playground for learning all about RESTful and GraphQL APIs. This is a open source project that a lot of people have contributed to. And if you wanted to have an endpoint to build against your project against, then this is open source. And so that way you can really understand what the concept of HTTP verbs are and what it means to CRUD something and things of that nature without dealing with the hassle of authentication.
And I heard that it's going to have Restaurants in Tampa by Justin M. I don't know. It's anonymous. Right, Justin? You're going to provide us with your beautiful data into this open source project?
That's a good idea.
After you get your gold medal.
That's a great segue into two of the topics I wanted to talk about was, or three of the topics was, one of them was the difference between Create React App and Vite and why I'm migrating over. The second topic was use context conversation. I wanted to have a discussion about how I implemented it and what I'm thinking about changing and seeing what everybody thinks about that and the pros and cons. And the third one, if we have time to, I can get into how to contribute to sample APIs because the data behind this is actually pretty simple as far as data structures go because it can't necessarily go too deep, and the JSON that powers it is where most of the magic happens. So if anybody wants to contribute that to sample APIs, I can give a quick demo on how to do that. So yeah, so sample APIs, there are a plethora of endpoints that we can play around with. There's different categories that each one can go into. And all sorts of stuff. And one of the things I'm looking for is if you don't want to contribute to a specific endpoint, like you don't want to create a new endpoint, why not do something with it, create a code pen and submit it. So that way we can show different examples. One of the goals, the grandiose goals I have for this particular product is to be an end-all one-stop shop for all things RESTful endpoints, right? I eventually want to expand it to have documentation to go deeper into what the HTTP verbs mean. What does CRUD mean? And then we've got plenty of examples in here as far as like actual data goes, but what do I do with the data? So a great way to contribute is do something with the data in a code pen, submit it as a pull request, and I'll put it on the site like we're seeing here with the Futurama quizzes or inventory. So that's a great way to
I
get
see
back.
you
I would
even
love to see
made
that.
you even made a jQuery one for Michael. That's very nice of you.
I did just
a couple
for
of
you.
seconds ago. There you go, Michael.
All right. So jQuery is not dead. It's just being absorbed into vanilla JavaScript. So all the good stuff that we have in JavaScript now is largely due to what jQuery gave us. So don't let anybody knock on jQuery.
That's right. It's not dead, just owns the world.
Like WordPress and PHP.
Good example.
No controversy there? No boo me? Okay. All right. So yeah, so this is sample APIs in a nutshell. And this is a monolithic application, meaning it is a full stack node on the server and a client-side React app. The React I'm using is the latest React with TypeScript So that's a good thing. If you guys don't know, TypeScript is a superset of JavaScript that gives you type safety in your JavaScript, and it's taking over the world. So if you have too much to learn on your plate already, why not throw TypeScript on there? Because that'll get you a job real quick. And then the back end is Node, Express, and JSON server. So the thing that is powering the REST API is not something hand created, because I have 23 of them right now, and the plan is to grow. So I'm not hand rolling out every one of those APIs. JSON server under the hood is what's handling that. So that's pretty cool too. See, I told you, Damien, I had it up. Maybe open up a new window and bring it over.
Nice.
All right.
It's like you're prepared or something. This is impressive.
See,
I'm
told
impressed
you
so
this
far.
Last minute put together.
Yeah.
So has everybody heard of Create React App? Right? Pretty familiar, right? You start a new project, you run Create React App, you pick your template, you do your thing. So I just wanted to, a lot of people, when they do these tutorials, they're like, I'll come back to you when it's done downloading. And I just want to do this in real time to kind of demo something. So I'm going to do npmi. I'm just going to sit here and chat to everybody. How's everybody doing? Everybody good? No? You're just going to laugh at me? Everybody's that's rude.
I'm doing all right, Jermbo.
That's
Good to
so
see you, man.
amazing.
I feel like it's been a little while.
It has been a little while. It's been exactly a year.
Oh my gosh.
March, right? It's when the world shut down. So
yeah.
What are we on? 15, 16 months now?
I think you're right. It is the 92nd of March. You're right.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. So one of my points of doing that stall is it's still going, right? So Create React App has a lot of dependencies, has a lot of things it needs. It's very powerful in what it does, and it's very good, but I feel like there's a lot to it. And what we'll talk about when we go to a system like Vite, Vite is kind of Webpack 3.0, right? So if you think about the build tools that we've come across, it started off back in the day with Grunt, and the evolution of that was the task runners, where you have a stream of data, you take it from one place, you manipulate it, you put it in another place, and then you pick up from there and do something with it. That's very like a linear path, and you have to configure all these little steps with it, right? The evolution of that, is Gulp and then Webpack. And Webpack is still very configuration heavy. These things are configuration over convention, right? You bring your own everything. So under the hood, what's happening in Create React App is it's handling the configuration for Webpack for you. And there are a lot of assumptions that go into that. If you want to do anything super advanced or anything custom or niche, then you might have to eject Create React App to do certain things with it. So I just wanted to point out, look at the number of packages it produced, right? Over 2,000. And I wasn't doing a timer on that, but it took a long time to do. Another thing I want to talk about is
well, it says there 108 seconds, right?
Nice.
Yeah, it's right there.
Fancy.
Right next to it, if I just continue going that way.
He was testing and you passed out.
Well, because
what do I get?
There's another concept of, okay, that's not too bad, but it's still loading, it's still doing its thing. I should probably, before it fails on me, run my server. npm run server. But yeah, it's still going, it's still doing its thing. It's building.
Works on my box.
Yep, failed. This is live coding at its finest.
Nice.
So React refresh runtime.
Let's all debug and
debug
all by voice, all at the same time. Ready? Go. No.
All right. So did you check the config? No, I'm just kidding.
Nice. Absolutely.
Ooh,
you do npmi?
Yeah.
npm.
Well,
npm start.
Isn't that what I did?
I thought you said run server.
Well,
Sorry,
no, that's my actual server I ran.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's creating React scripts. It's doing its thing. We all know it works. This is what I get
Works
for
on my
changing
bugs.
something. This is what I get for changing last minute. But like, you see what's happening here? Like the fact that it's compiling, it's doing something. And when I go over to check my browser, there's a definite wait time. And like, as you know, I've worked on some pretty large applications in my day job, and like this time just gets exponential. Like after a while, like sometimes I'm waiting like 15 seconds for something to happen. And you know, so I've been trying to find a different alternative for it. And going back to the topic of like the evolution of where things are going. So it's like our task runners, our build scripts that we would create, the grunt and the gulps. That's the start of it. That's 1.0. And then moving over to more advanced features and more configuration options that gives you more fine control is where the Webpack came from. It kind of took over from where that went. And then we started seeing an emergence of things like Parcel and Snowpack. Vite is in that same vein of Parcel and Snowpack, but it's a little bit more opinionated than what the other options are. So if I pull up, where'd you go? Vite. This is built by Evan Yu, the guy who brought up Vue.js. And the first version of this is currently in version 2.3 or 4. So the 1.0 versions was very specifically for Vue and the Vue 3 ecosystem. And then as he started decoupling this and making this less about the view, he realized this was a tool that anybody can use. So he has the community as well has built in plugins. This is all built on Rollup, and is using a lot of the ESM modules, right? So ECMAScript modules, the import thing from file. That's now being supported in browsers. So if we don't need to support those old browsers, this is making some choices for you that allow you to move forward, right? So it's like you don't have to make the decision, whereas Webpack, you've got to decide all of these things. Vite is a system that makes what he calls like educated opinions for you, right? Like everybody uses some sort of SAS or CSS modules, right? So that's an opinion that just comes out of the box with it. ESM for importing something from file is another thing that he gets, and it's built in such a way that it's like ridiculously fast. So let me do a switch over to my dev branch that has it, and show you a couple of things that I've noticed right off the bat. There was a couple of nuances that I had a hiccup on, but let me remove node modules. And so the first thing we notice is our dependencies are no longer, excuse me, our dependencies no longer create React app or anything like that. We have 3 builds, which is Vite, you know, dev, build, and serve. And the dev dependency is Vite. So let me just do the normal npm I to see where that goes. So this is where, you know, I do the joke again where I talk to you and then like, oh, all of a sudden it's done. And this is considerably faster. But now as soon as I say that, I'm shooting video, so that's why it's going slow. So that's what's happening here. But we'll notice the biggest thing is the download size that comes with it. The amount of dependencies that are on here are only 129 packages, which is pretty significant, right?
Well, there, and it's at 23 seconds as opposed to 108.
Yeah, when I was doing tests with this, it's like again, I'm streaming video here, so there's multiple things calling for my bandwidth, but it was consistently in the 90 seconds for Create React App and consistently in the 10 to 15 to 20 range for Vite. And then npm run dev. We're done. Right? And the one thing that I wasn't able to get hard numbers on is when I make a change, when Create React App and come see what's happening here. So not only is the initial build in Create React App much longer, much more a much larger compilation. But then also just any minor changes. The one thing Vite does differently is that it hot module reloads the thing that you change. So if you've got a deeply nested React component structure and you only change the text in that one thing, this is the only thing that's getting injected in there, and it's being all taken care of under the hood. This wasn't a one-for-one, let me stop working on Create React App, install Vite, and move forward. Vite does things in a little different way. First thing off the bat is the index is now called main, which is just different. The root element is different in Vite versus Create React App. That tripped me up. And where it places its source files is no longer in the public. So Create React App puts everything in the public, and that's where things are getting attached to, and the distribution file is kind of compiling things from there, where the index kind of lives on its own out here. But that's let me pull up my notes that I had about this, that kind of talking to the community about it. So the couple of things to take away from there is, 2,000 plus, almost 2,200 packages, and over 100 seconds compilation time. My notes says 109, 0.27, right? And then when I compiled, when I did a Create React App build versus a Vite build, on this one project, I saved 2 files and 15%. So the Create React App would give me 5 or 6 files that totaled what was it, 150K, and Vite gave me 4 files that totaled 130K. So there is some, and I didn't include any of the creation of the static assets like the PNGs or convert to WP or anything like that, the web formats. So there was, in the core files itself, there was at least a 20% reduction in file size, which I thought was pretty good.
That's amazing in size, and yet so fast, so much more fast, so much more faster. Oh, see, English, I can speak English.
So the one thing that I noticed too, so it's like if I split these screens up like this, I have 2 monitors open. I've got my code on one, my browser on the other. When I was working on the Create React App, even making this change right here, 1, 2, 3, 4, okay, maybe it changed. And then I might have to hit refresh depending on the complexity of it. But we see the instantaneous, like by the time I get there, the change is already there. And this is all using the power of ESM and under the hood, hot module swapping, I think he's called it, or something of that nature, because it's not quite hot module reloading. Maybe it is, but it's specifically, you're only compiling and changing the things that, and sending to the browser the things that need to change, which is, I think, pretty cool. So if you are playing around with creating new React projects, and you're not doing anything overly complicated and doing something super custom where you're diving into your own Webpack config and doing something very obscure, why not give Vite a try and just see how it works?
So Jeremy, what do you lose though? Like, even for a complex project, if we're not like actually doing our own Webpack, but just like, building a standard, like, every freaking CRUD application, right? What are we, I mean, obviously this is faster, it's smaller, it's making some good decisions for us, but what are we giving up?
That's a very good question, because it's like I've been trying to figure that out as well. And I'm like thinking about, the Create React Act team talks about not recommending ejecting, right? So it should handle everything, out of the box and all that stuff for you. And if you need to do something super custom or, add your own obscure plugin, then you have the option to eject. I don't know if Vite has an option to eject.
it's a pain to eject with
Exactly.
CRA.
And I've gone
It's
through
like
that twice.
Yeah.
It's not fun.
What does eject mean? What are you guys talking about with that?
So the Create React app doesn't
Mhm.
expose you to the Webpack, right? Everything is done through the React scripts.
Right.
There is a Webpack, but you don't have control over that.
Okay.
So like, for example, one of the reasons why we needed to eject from the Create React app was one, we needed more dev environments, right?
Mhm.
So it's like out of the box, Create React app gives you dev and production, right? So
Okay.
the env, when you hit npm run start, run the dev server, you're in the process.env
Yes.
is development. It's either development or production.
Okay.
So we needed something that gave us dev, staging, and production. So we had to eject because of that. And
But what does it mean
this was
to
the
eject?
explanation from me. I don't know, like out of the box, what if that's a possible case, but based on the reading that I've done and the explanation from the other tech lead, they're like, we needed staging and we couldn't do it inside there. Like
I have a staging environment in several of my React apps that I never ejected.
Interesting.
You do that by having a different branch on Git. Is that right, Todd? How do you do a stage?
Well, that was just for deployment in the
Mhm.
for those particular projects.
Right.
But yeah, it was just through different environmental variables.
Yeah, you could. I have also 3 different staging, and basically just with environment variables change, and as you run the build, you could deploy to whichever platform you want to run the build, like on a link, like a public bucket or anything like that. So
okay. But it looked like, and I thought the biggest advantage was that tremendous speed that you just showed us. I mean, it's a fifth of the speed.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, and so another benefit that we get out of this is because it's built on rollup. It's using the rollup plugin system. So I may be incorrect in the statement, but any rollup plugin that currently works with rollup now works in Vite. You get that for free, right? Because it is just an extension of rollup and goes from there. And then the community has been adding all of the things that have been missing, because like being that this is a new tool, Webpack is so mature and there's so many developers working on it. So it's like, well, I can't switch to Vite because it doesn't have this one feature. Well, it's getting to the point now where it's feature parity as far as those Webpack plugins are now Vite style plugins or rollup plugins that already existed. So the feature parity for me has been pretty one for one. The one thing that I did find that was weird is my code mirror stopped working. So on sample APIs, if I go to anything that doesn't have a code pen, this is using code mirror, so that way I can do HTML and CSS code pen style, right? There is a global that I needed to add. I even think I left a comment in here.
Oh, wow.
Not sure why global.window equals window is necessary, but this was a thing that Webpack didn't seem to have a problem with, but Vite did. So
for those of us who just started coding, do you also need to put in a line there that says counter? If you're trying to rewrite this and failed, please increment this counter by 1 in the comments. No?
I haven't needed that one in here yet, but yeah, that's something I've seen.
Yes.
So it's like, because what code mirror needed is it needed the global to figure out what the window, the iframe is for each one of these boxes, and it said there was no global thing. And so scouring through GitHub issues on not Vite, I found this on various places, and someone said this worked, and I put it in there and it worked, and I left this comment. This is one of those.
Yeah, that's really interesting, because I've had to use window dot for so many scripts and in a lot of like the production React apps that I use. The marketing team hands you some Facebook pixel or something, and you need to be tracking things throughout the app, and you just use window dot FBX or whatever, and it's automatically connected. But But you know, if that's the one thing you lose by going to, you know, getting some 6 times faster framework.
But
I'm
it's
down.
weird. I just commented out. You know, let me kill the server and start it back up. Okay, so no, what is this? Oops, not my downloads. Yeah, so global is not defined, and it's specifically React code mirror. So adding this back, restarting the server, this solved my problems.
Sweet.
But again, like this speed right here is something that I was missing from Create React App, and the next project that I start, I'm going to push very hard for doing this in Vite instead of Create React App, because you know, to Todd's point, most of us are building just basic CRUD apps with a couple of things here and there, and it's gotten to the point where what we're working on, like what Webpack was specific for, like there was a specific plugin here, is now either been created or is already meaning it's already a roll-up thing, or the community has contributed to it. So there's a lot of movement behind here, and I kind of want to show you why, right? So I have a shell up here. Let's go to just a quick get started, and the npm init Vite app. Let's run that and see what happens.
And the cool thing is you can use it also for Vue, right? Vue and
Hang on.
Svelte.
Oops, I went too quickly. Let me undo. Abort.
No.
All right. So yeah, out of the box, it gives us support with Vanilla, Vue, React, Preact, Lit Element, and Svelte. Svelte Kit. Anybody's not paying attention to that? That's going to be a cool one. Is built on top of Vite. They migrated from, I believe it was Parcel. It might have been Snowpack, and moved to Vite because of their philosophy of using the ESM out of the box, making smart decisions for the user. This is an opinionated tool, so I don't want you to think that you know, there's you know, like with Webpack, you can do anything and everything you want. I'm sure you can get Vite to do that, but that kind of defeats the purpose of Vite, right? This is making some decisions for you and making use of the newer technology, so that way you get the most bang for your buck. So yeah, so it absolutely uses Vue, it uses React, and then when you click on one, you have React and React TS. So cd test, oops, npmi. So like just getting up and running is ridiculously quick, and then npm run dev once this is done.
Wow. Yeah, that's
right?
huge.
In Create React App, that is at least a 30-second task.
Wow.
And you know, to all the other random people watching this YouTube video, oh no, 30 seconds. Well, this counts. This adds up. You know, it's like if we're doing this over and over, if we're making a change and you know, waiting 30 seconds, that's lost productivity. That if I, as a developer, you know, this goes out to all the new developers. It's not unheard of for me to make a small change, save, and see if that fixed my error, or you know, make another small change and see if that fixed the error. Or if I'm working in CSS land, I don't know the exact position, height, and width of a particular element. I just guess in the code, and then I go use the dev tools to go find the right answer. What's the padding? Is it 10 pixels or is it 12 pixels? I don't know the answer to that. I'm going to put 10 just to start, and if that happened to hit the mark, cool. But if it needs to be 12, then I'm using the dev tools and I'm going back and forth a lot. So if I make one small change and have to wait 30 seconds, that slows me down as a developer. Huge. So that's why, you know, I think Vite is the way to go. And I'm not biased because I'm the big Vue fan. I'd rather use Vue, and this came from the Vue creator. So,
like Michelle mentioned, if you're 30 seconds for one person seems like nothing, but 30 seconds times 15 students, that's almost 10 minutes.
That makes sense.
That's true. So, you know, you have a svelte. Pardon me. You have a svelte fan in Justin. So if you ever want to talk about that, Jeremy, just let us know.
So
are we switching?
Well,
Oh.
I mean, we're going to talk Svelte for a little bit, you know.
Oh my.
So like for all the people who are learning jQuery, I want you to go through a journey with me, right? So I've been a developer for 15 odd years, right? I started off my days in the Flash development world, and then when Jobs took that away from me, Steve Jobs specifically, because of the iPhone, started taking that away from me. I held on to Flash for so long because it's like, it's not going anywhere. Who cares if it's not on the iPhone? I'm not gonna not do it. I'm not gonna learn this JavaScript thing, even though they're pretty similar, but whatever. Moving over to JavaScript was a pain for me, especially back in the day before jQuery, because jQuery came out of a need of IE6 was different than IE7 was different than IE8 was different than Firefox and Chrome, etc. So it's like there was different ways to do the one thing, right? Like, how do I add an event listener in IE6 versus Firefox? Attach event listener or add event listener? All right, how do I know that, right? jQuery, you do $.on, and it takes care of the browser compatibility for you. So it's like when I picked up jQuery, I picked up JavaScript. That's what got me into JavaScript, right? And then there hasn't been much excitement because Flash was like my first introductory into code, got me really excited about it. I was forced to move outside of my will, and then jQuery got me excited about it. I was like, yes, all right, this is cool. So jQuery came in, what, 2008, right? Ish. I think I picked it up maybe 2009, 2010, and really dove into it.
Yes.
I haven't been excited about anything in a while, right? It's the same old stuff. Like, we're building the same old CRUD app, so it's like it's hard to get excited about it. Vue piqued my interest because I did a little bit of Angular 1, and it's like, all right, this is cool. I see this thing over here. I type in this box. I see it update automatically over there. I'm like, all right, that's cool. I've been trying to do that for a while, but then I didn't want anything to do with it. Like, it immediately got complicated after that, and I tried Ember and all that stuff, and I was like, man, this isn't fun. Vue piqued my interest, and then Svelte. Oh man, Svelte was love at first sight. I felt excited about Svelte as I did about jQuery, and that was at least an 8-year gap of picking up the two. Svelte made me excited about it. This lesson, this tool that I've created for Code Palm Beach is called Typer, and we are from a generation, or the kids are from a generation where they're from iPhones, right? They know what a keyboard is, but when you're coding, you have to use modifier keys all the time. So I would see students hit shift and then hit comma to get the open caret. It's like, no, you have to hold shift and hit comma to get the special characters, right? They're used to that second layer, going to the capital letters or special characters or something like that. So I was like, okay, what is a tool that I can get out here where I can teach the kids to code or to type, right? Get their hands on keyboards. They're not looking at it. And they're just typing things out. All right, this is cool. And I was like, okay, well, if I'm doing this, why can't I sneak in an HTML lesson in here? So if we get to know HTML, right, we have a tool where heading 1, H1, every time I do this, I fail at typing faster, even though I created this and I've done this 1,000 times. Every time someone watches me, I forget how to type. Like, I'm looking at my keyboard and I'm doing what I tell my students not to do, and just.
But it's also,
one
Jeremy, you might be discounting the fact that it's really hard to do that while you're speaking. Like, I write on the board or type all day while I'm teaching, and I can't spell while I'm speaking because I'm trying to spell a word and say another word.
Oh,
really
well,
hard
I mean,
for
I
a brain
can't
to
spell in general, so I feel your pain there.
You don't have the chalkboard that has Google autocorrect?
Oh man, wouldn't that be amazing?
That's.
I would fear that I would
Damien,
spell it
as-
so badly where Google's like, I have no idea what you're talking about, so I just try to find a different word.
Yeah.
Damien, we're just waiting until you're done with yours to
Yes.
donate them to the school.
You got it. You
when
got it. No.
Upgrade.
Right. I left mine when I left Microsoft. Since I no longer work there, that's where I left my whole board. No, they did have one. By the way, it costed like $10,000, but they did have one, and it didn't autocorrect. It sucked. So.
So the first version of this was just vanilla JavaScript because I had text on a screen and the students were typing along, and there's not a lot of complicated logic behind what was going on there. what I wanted to add is what we're looking at on screen. You know, we type out some stuff, we see the output of what we typed, we see a map of where you're at, because a lot of times if you're doing one line of code at a time, you disassociate where this exists in context to each other. So the mini map helps them figure out where things are at, because we see mini maps all the time, right? And so when I picked up Svelte, I heard about it a couple of times on podcasts and, you know, a couple of YouTube videos popping up. And I'm like, all right, I've heard about this enough. Wednesday, I watched a little tutorial on it. Friday, I built the little to-do app that they were doing. And I was like, I'm in. Saturday and Sunday, I built what you see right here. Like 90% of what you see right here, I was able to add not only the display screen, but the HTML and the CSS and just all of this stuff. I was able to split them out into 2 types of lessons, and all within a weekend, because Svelte was one of those scenarios like jQuery of like, I wonder if jQuery has a method to do this. Oh, it does. Let me do that. I'm like, I wonder how to do this in Svelte. Okay, well, that worked. So that was a lot of fun for me. So I'm a big fan of Svelte, if anybody likes it. There's
Love
an
it.
open source project I can use help on.
Typer.
Typer, yep. This is all on my GitHub too. If you go to github.com/Jermbo, this is under the Cosmic Typer. So yeah, so that's in a nutshell why I think Vite is going to be the next thing. And you also get into internet fights. Is it Vite? Is it Vite? Is it Vite? I don't know.
Yes.
Everybody says it wrong. And
One of
Evan Yu
those.
has stated is like whatever the creator says it should sound like, and he's gone on saying it was Vite.
Nice.
I like how Todd is typing it out as if that makes a difference.
Right. Right.
He's like, this is how you say it.
It's like you ridiculous people
Yeah, I
that
just
pronounce
put it in
it
the chat. I
you
just
know,
put it in the chat. Yeah.
GIF. It's not GIF.
GIF.
It is GIF.
Yeah, that's right.
Linus is
Like
wrong
peanut
there,
butter.
or whoever
Yes.
created it.
Yeah. Oh, I heard
Yeah.
people say that even Linux, they're like, it's Linux. It's not Linux. It's Linux.
Yeah, Jeremy. Yeah, Jeremy. We agree with you. It's GIF.
Yes, that's
It's
right.
GIF, Jeremy.
So
Yes.
for all the new people, if you guys want to start a major nerd fight at your next job, just
Mhm.
subtly go, it's GIF or
Yes.
it's GIF, and just walk away and see what happens.
That's right. That's good.
Or single quotes
Or
versus double
tabs,
quotes
not
is another
spaces.
useless one. Tabs versus spaces. Those are also another fun one. Does anybody else have any of those?
I think
Jiffy Cat?
Michelle is trying to prove us. Oh, I love that. Oh my God, that link that Michelle just put in there. Oh, no. Hold on a second. You how do you say pronouncing it like they do in French? Is this a French word, Jeremy? No,
Yeah.
Jeremy.
Yeah, that's straight from the docs. That thing that I posted.
That link?
French word for the part that says French word for fast pronounced Vite is straight from the Vite docs.
Oh,
Yeah.
And so then I posted the link for how to pronounce that.
nice.
Ah,
'Cause, yeah, I'm totally a buzzkill like that.
nice. No,
You're
no,
all
I like
wrong.
that.
Here's facts and
Yeah.
stuff.
We could solve this in 2 seconds.
Well,
Oh,
but it's the
that's-
same thing, Michelle.
That's the problem.
Same
RTFM,
thing,
right?
like you with GIF, you could go to the docs and the people say like this, the people who created it are like this is how you pronounce it, and people still argue no, they're wrong.
That would be a
Yeah.
great name for your cat, by the way, Steph.
Vite. Vite.
Especially if it's like a really slow fat cat.
That would be the best.
With-
You got to
with
name a
3
turtle
legs.
that or something particularly slow.
With 3 legs, right?
There you go.
What does that mean? That means fast.
So it is 7:30, right? You know, typically these talks last for, you know, anywhere from 45 minutes to an hour with Q&A and all that stuff. I could get into how to contribute, like how the under the hood stuff works in the server if anybody's interested. But outside of that, I had a great conversation talking with everybody, you know, the differences between Create React App and Vite and why I might use it and potential downfalls. And
You want to stop
been
sharing
fun.
it so that we go into sort of chat mode And
Chat mode it is.
sound, you know how it's doing. So what does everybody? Oh, just realized I have to stand up if I'm going to talk to you guys, right? Now would be when I go in the front to see everybody else there. So, hey, welcome back. Hey, that's the problem with. I remember what people were saying, like, am I on mute? Okay, yeah.
I can't hear you, Damien. What?
Yeah, exactly. So, anyways, so one of the things
Michelle gave you.
Michelle has no.
Were you helping me, Michelle? I appreciate
Nope.
that. I appreciate
She's
that. They were like,
embarrassed.
No poker
What's happening?
face. She can't
No.
pretend to think what you're doing is funny when it's not.
well, no problem at all. No problem at all. So one of the things that we'd love to see, Justin, if you'd like, if you feel like, I'm signing, pointing, but one thing anybody can do is, grab and essentially provide a JSON file, something that you may have already, and then put it up there. I even have a video on the YouTube channel about how I did it for the population. I did countries, populations, capitals. So how I did it, how I put it to.
And you did Rick and Morty too, right?
I did do Rick and Morty. Yeah, yes. And so we had that. But what I mean is the video is only about how I did in countries. So it's just a great way, and it's also a lot of things. A lot of the students. I was almost going to say kids, students that graduate from Boca Code, Michelle, Jonathan, and Todd's great coding camp. Also, experience their first check-in with that. It looks good on your resume to have something on GitHub. Is a big project. It is used by Wes Boss and a couple other major people on YouTube. Travis Media has mentioned it, but he hasn't used it in any of his videos. He's mentioned it to it. Yeah,
he's mentioned it.
Yes, but not in the video. Not on YouTube.
Oh. West Boss is like a mile, like achievement unlocked for me. It's like he used it in his videos.
He used it in one of the courses.
You
so
should have like a poster for that, like a plaque or something.
Well, I'm going to be
West
one of those
Boss
annoying
used my
people where
project.
it's like you come up and be like, "Hey, I'm Jeremy. You may remember me from such a movie such as."
Yes.
Such
That's
as
right.
intro to Node by West Boss.
That's right.
Yep.
So it's amazing.
You need an IMDb, Jeremy. You got to have your IMDb reference.
Absolutely.
Nice. So does anybody have anything that they'd like, maybe that they're interested in as far as libraries that they suggest that they'd like to see someone present, that they would like to present, that is something that's fascinating to them?
I just, in terms of giving credit and thanks, because I have to run here in a minute. I just wanted to give credit to Damien, because Damien actually produced a really cool video for students who are going into coding camps who don't have a lot of computer background, don't come with strong computer backgrounds, and like how to set up your computer and how to get around your computer and do some basic things. And one of our students today said that watching that made her feel so much more confident about going into starting the boot camp, because we just started a new cohort this week. And one of our students said it made her feel so much better, like everyone's starting off at the basics, like it wasn't just her, it's her first time using a Mac. So just wanted to let you know, Damien, give you a shout out for that your video really helped. So
I was going to say, you were going to say it's really long. I meant to do like a 50-minute video and ended up being
boring.
an hour. Yeah. It's never going to be boring.
If you skip the ads, in the middle, he has,
it's
that's
only
the only
5 minutes.
That's the only reason I did it, to get those thousands of a cent that I'm getting from you. I don't even make money yet, and I haven't reached enough subscribers for that.
Yeah, man. Maybe you can create another one like 2 hours long for like Chromebook, like for a developer.
Yes, I heard that. So I'm a big fan. I'm telling you, I don't understand why everybody doesn't use Chromebooks. We're all JavaScript people. You know what I mean? Come on, really? That's my laptop. Really? You people, you backwards people. with your fat laptops.
Yeah, okay, so that's your laptop, and you notice it's on video because what you're using is
Yes.
not that right now.
What are you talking about?
Streaming, you're not using that.
Why would I not be using that? What makes you think I'm not using that?
I don't know. Just there's something that's telling me that maybe that's not the computer you're using right now.
Got it. That's very perceptive.
I don't know what the it's just a vibe I'm getting.
Makes sense. We're gonna go with that. So, anybody, if you do want to feel like presenting, let us know. If you do feel like there's a particular subject that you're interested in, and then we can find some presenters out there, let us also know. We meet the first and last Tuesday of the month. This is just because of the fact that the biggest two parts of the organizations before were one at the beginning and one at the end. So there is another meeting next week. We're still working on the speaker for that one, but do check out the meetup.com/FloridaJS for more details. We will have a free one. Yes. I appreciate you, Justin, bringing one more person to that group. That adds to my total count. So that helps. One more entity.
One more set of eyes. One more set of eyes.
One object. One
That's
more.
the only reason I wear the glasses is to be an extra set of eyes.
I appreciate that. very much. And all that. That's smart.
Hey, Damien, I sent you a DM, but I could Next.js, if anybody is interested on that.
That is something a lot of people have been asking
Yes.
for. I think that would be
Please.
amazing.
I could do a session on that.
I would love that. That's something that I still don't quite understand how to do it or what the difference is. No, but so please, that would be
I've been
amazing.
looking at switching sample APIs to a Next.js app. So that way we get the SEO and stuff, but Damien had to go and deny my pull request.
Yes,
and
correct.
Fix things on the server side.
Not until I understand it will
Jeremy,
I ever accept.
if you write clean code, then maybe he'll approve your pull request.
Yes.
Ooh,
As
sound like
in
fighting
clean,
words.
as in I don't want to see any code. Just clean it from the screen, all that. So because it's like I'm sick and tired of
Oh,
that.
is that
Cleanest
what
code
clean
is the
code means?
deleted
Just
code.
Exactly.
Clean the code.
So it's nice and clean, and that's it. So also, what do you guys all think? Or when would be for those of you guys that don't live specifically here? We normally meet in Boca Raton, but even if you say we would meet on your favorite coffee place, when would be a place that you would all, and you're welcome to chat, or when would be a good time for you that you would feel comfortable going to a large hotel-like lobby, that's the place we normally meet. Do you feel like it is something you would have done today? Is it something you would have done thank you, Justin, not until next year? Is that something that you would wait until next year, or you would feel like, okay, now? Okay, I love it. Everybody, it is amazing. It's from all those from the all the ASL that I've learned, right? The American Sign Language. That I can tell that everybody's saying right now and all that. So it is something we talked about. It is something we've been thinking about. We still have to make sure that the organization is at. Yes, we'd love to do it at either the Boca Code offices, which would be great. Hey, we know that. Nikki, we know that. You can bring that person in. We know him. We know him. Hey. So we'll definitely check it out. We might do we probably won't do it next week, but we'll probably talk about it with the other organizers and speakers, whether we do it the following month. That would be August, if I'm right. Right? We're in July already. So almost. Are we in July? We're not in July. Yeah, we're not in July. Okay.
And that next one is
close.
July.
Pretty close.
July 6th is our next meetup.
Yeah.
And
so I think that one we won't do. We'll still do virtual, but then afterwards we'll start doing that. And for anybody who was like, no, I'm not ready for that. We will have sort of a hybrid. I have a whole bag, believe it or not, of a capture card and all those type of things, so that you will be part of the audience. You will see the speaker just like you do right now if you were to check out the YouTube page.